Welcome to 2.3 video lesson under Algebra 2. The concept is linear functions and slope-intercept form, and there are 5 boxes. So let's take a look at box number 1. Let's recall what slope actually is. Hopefully you guys know this already, or this isn't any news to you. But let's say you have 2 points in the coordinate plane, like this point and say that point for there. And if we draw a line that connects the 2 points, okay, no big deal, so far so good. A slope is the relationship between, it's a ratio between the change in the y value over the change in the x value. So more commonly known as like the rise over the run. So this right here, from here to here, this is what we call delta y. And then from here to here, this is what we call delta x. So slope is nothing more than the ratio of the change in y values divided by the change in x values. Now, of course, there is a slope formula, which we're going to get to in a second. But this is just a review of what slope actually is. I want you to keep in mind that slope is nothing more than a ratio of change in y over change in x. There are 4 types of slope that we deal with. Positive slopes go upwards from left to right. So as x increases, y increases. Negative slopes go downward from left to right. So as x increases, y decreases. A slope of 0 is a horizontal line. I know this is not a very straight line, but a horizontal line. The slope is equal to 0 because the change in y is 0. We don't change any y. We stay flat, so the slope is 0. Undefined, you guys, is the one that's up and down, straight up and down. The reason that it's undefined is because there is no change in x. And you'll recall that the change of x is the denominator. So basically you have some change in y divided by the number 0. And in mathematics, especially in Algebra 2, when we divide by 0, the word is undefined. So there's a recap of what slope is, and we will start to use it in this lesson. Okay, box number 2, I'm going to show you how to find the slope given 2 points. Again, this should be a review for most of you, okay? So I told you that the slope, okay, is equal to the change in y divided by the change in x. That can be more commonly referred to as the y2 minus y1 value divided by the x2 minus x1 value. This is the slope formula, so this should not be anything new. Okay, this is my first x point, this is my first y point, this is my second x point, this is my second y point. So I have x1, y1, and x2, y2. So the formula says take the value of y2, which is 4, subtract off the value of y1, which is 7, divided by the ratio x2, which is negative 2, minus negative 3. Notice I'm putting parentheses around all of these to keep my negative signs where they belong. So 4 minus 7 is worth negative 3. And then negative 2 minus a negative 3 is like negative 2 plus 3. So that'd be a value of 1. So therefore the slope is worth negative 3. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, here's a second example. So if I do change in y divided by change in x, I would get y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which in this case I have x1, y1, and x2 and y2. So I would have 1 minus 1, all divided by negative 4 minus 3. Now 1 minus 1, of course, is 0 over negative 7. So 0 divided by negative 7 is a slope of 0. So please do not put undefined in that one. It is a slope of 0. Okay, box number 3 is a u-try. I want you to find the slope between the following 2 points, 5, 4, and 8, 1. You can refer back to box 2 if you need help. Okay, hopefully you got the right answer of negative 1. What I did was a change in x, or sorry, excuse me, change in y divided by a change in x. So I did this part first. Change in y is defined as y2 minus y1. Change in x is x2 minus x1. Plugging in the values, I got 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and 8 minus 5 is positive 3. So negative 3 divided by positive 3 is negative 1. Okay, box number 4 is slope-intercept form. Again, this should not be anything new to you. In Algebra 2, you should have seen this in Algebra 1. So slope-intercept form is this form right here. Y is equal to mx plus b. The m, of course, is your slope value. Okay, that should be a good review. And the b is your y-intercept value. So the reason they call this slope-intercept is because you're given a slope and the y-intercept. So it's pretty straightforward as to why it's called that. So here's a quick little example. If I have 5x minus 4y equals 16 and I'm asked to put this in slope-intercept form, that means I need to make it look like this. So I need to solve for y in terms of everything else in slopes and intercepts. So I would begin by adding 5 or subtracting 5x from both sides. Do the inverse operations. So I get negative 4y is equal to negative 5x plus the number 16. And then I would divide by negative 4 everywhere. Negative 4 divide by negative 4. So I would get y is now equal to negative 5x divided by negative 4x is 5/4 x. And then positive 16 divided by negative 4 is a negative 4. Sorry, that's so weird like that. So the answer should be y is equal to 5/4 x minus 4. And that would be the answer for slope-intercept form. Okay, box number 5, I'm going to show you an example of how to graph a line. So I have 5x is equal to 2y minus 20. So one thing that we can do is we can put this equation into slope-intercept form, which is, of course, is the form y equals mx plus b. So if I rearrange this for y, I would see that I would get 2y is equal to 5x plus 20 if I add 20 to both sides. And then I would divide both sides by 2, divide by 2. So I would get y is equal to 5/2 x plus the number 10. Okay, so how do I graph this? So I would start with my y-intercept of 10. So here is my y-intercept of 10. And then I would have to go up 5 and over 2. So if I go up 5, 1, 2, 3, I kind of go off the chart. So I could go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the left 2. And that would give me a slope of positive 5 over 2. So that is the equivalent of graphing, and of course you guys would use a straight edge, but I don't have a straight edge in this particular program. So get your equation into slope-intercept form, find the y-intercept, and then apply the slope.